Good morning and happy Friday. Jordan Keck here, your lender buddy and your complicated deal guy with your weekly market update. Kicking off, interest rates did move up again this week from 6.32 on average to 6.44, basically looking at 6.5% for top tier scenarios before buying down points. And this is great credit score, so talking 800 credit score clients, 25% more down payment on a purchase who are not paying points. So most people are going to be looking at the high sixes here, maybe even touching 7 in some scenarios, and less looking at a buy down, especially with lower credit scores or looking at investment properties. As far as our weekly mortgage tip, wanting to talk about multiple pre-approval letters. So if you've worked with me for a while, you know that I typically like to send out pre-approval letters specific to the address and the offer price. But with that, rather than having to have you go and ask multiple times for different letters, if you get a counter offer, if you know that there are different numbers you might want to hit, let me know up front. I'm more than happy to send multiple pre-approval letters at different prices. Had an agent I work with this week who asked for one at about 420, 425, 430, 435, and 440, just so that they're available. Doesn't really take me that much more time to do. And so if you think you might be in a situation where you want to have some different numbers on hand and not have to worry about getting them in last minute later, happy to do that. Just let me know up front and I can accommodate that. Next up, looking at news this week, the US potentially looking at extending the blockade in the Strait of Hormuz. While it's not official yet, there is a potential for this to go longer, so the markets reacted to account for that possibility. And of course, the possibility of that being closed longer means more time without oil moving through. And because Iran has no way to export its current oil, but they're still producing, they are running out of storage capacity and even using tankers as floating storage. This is all part of the political game here. It is still hurting the inflation side, hurting oil prices. But in a few weeks, as far as Iran's capacity, once it's reached, they'll either need to start looking at reducing their production or stopping altogether, which could be very damaging long-term for their equipment and potentially even cause permanent damage. Next, we got housing starts and permits for the month of March. Starts were up and permits were down. Starts were up 10.8% and also up 10.9% year over year to an annualized pace of 1.5 million homes. And this is starts or that have begun construction on new homes. Permits fell almost 11% to an annualized rate of 1.37 million and are down 7.4% year over year. Next up, we got Shiller and FHFA February home price appreciation for the month showed pretty little change. Shiller was up only 0.1% when seasonally adjusted, and FHFA was flat for the month. Shiller rose 0.7% year over year, and FHFA is up 1.7% for home prices since this time last year. And lastly here, Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, you may have seen this in the news, now accepting VantageScore in addition to FICO. This is the first time in really history that they've been allowing more than one different type of credit score. And while this could be a good thing for the mortgage industry, since the VantageScore takes things like rent payments into account and may help some borrowers get into qualifying that otherwise couldn't have with a FICO score, it'll be quite a while before the industry really sees any advantage from this. The reasoning is because there's a ton of history with FICO, so all the integration into the systems and the infrastructure needed to adapt to it and accept it will take a while. So we might be 1 to 2 years down the road before we really see this start to take effect. There's also the possibility that some lenders might price higher when using VantageScore because of the unknown risk level. There's a huge amount of data and risk analysis involved with FICO, but with Vantage being brand new, there's a possibility lenders might again account for a higher risk from the unknowns and price higher accordingly. So still a lot to be seen as that gets rolled out. As always, hopefully this is helpful. Hope you have a great May here. It's May 1st, new month, and we'll see you next time. Take care.